Good evening, explorers, and welcome to the range, where we are going to be breaking down various weapons, tools, and mechanics of the game sandbox. Today, we're talking all things 12x70, both the caliber and the guns that utilize it. 1270, also more commonly known as 12 gauge, is by and large the most popular shotgun cartridge in the world. It's rather odd that in this specific case, the 12 in 12x70 is not actually referring to the diameter in millimeters, rather the gauge, as the actual dimensions would be around 18.5 by 70 millimeters. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to refer to it as 12 gauge. It has a long history, with a very wide variety of evolutions, originally being all brass and using black powder, unlike the more modern standard of polymer casings with smokeless powder. One thing about 12 gauge is that it can be made using various loads. In game, there are two of them that are at your disposal. Buckshot is the first and more common load, dealing 100% damage assuming all of your pellets hit the target. As you likely know, buckshot shoots a spread of pellets instead of just one bullet, so the more pellets hit, the more damage you do. Buckshot has a 40% chance to penetrate armor. I don't know this for certain, but I believe each pellet rolls for its own penetration chance. It also has a 25% projectile velocity compared to the other load we're about to cover, so they move significantly slower. It also has a cost of 110 for 10 shells. All in all, buckshot requires you to use it at close range and against unarmored targets to be effective. Slugs, on the other hand, behave much differently. Instead of a spread of pellets, it shoots one large hunk of lead that deals 100% damage, has a 100% chance to penetrate armor, and has 100% of its velocity. This is, all in all, the better round to use, especially as the game progresses. It comes at a slightly higher cost of 150 for a box of 10 shells. Before we move on to weapons, I just wanted to explain something here. A new factor I was accounting for is spread, as it's an important stat for shotguns. To test this, I measured the maximum distance I could be standing from a man-sized target and still have all of the buckshot pellets consistently hitting said target. The way I measured distance was only slightly more methodical than just eyeballing it. Originally, I was going to use the Mosin, as I have a Mosin in real life. However, the in-game model is based on the carbine version, and I have the full rifle-length version, so I couldn't verify if the model was accurate to scale. However, I do have an AKM, and to ensure that the model in-game was accurate, I held the rifle's muzzle and walked up to an in-game AKM I had propped up against a wall, and sure enough, where my hand was holding the rifle, IRL, was exactly how tall the in-game version was. Then, using a tape measure, I took the length of the rifle, which conveniently came out to around 3 feet. Okay, it was actually like 35 inches, but close enough. I then made a line of AKs from the target to the wall it was directly facing, which turned out to be plenty of room. From there, I shot at the target with each weapon until I found the furthest distance I could be while still getting all of the pellets to hit the target. I then shot an additional 4 times to verify. This was only done for the sake of comparing the shotguns. They are still very usable past my listed effective range. With that out of the way, let's get into the weapons. First up is the Sonov IZH-27, a Russian over-under 12-gauge shotgun designed by Anatoly Klimov in 1969 to replace the IZH-12. The IZH referring to where it was manufactured at the Isyovsk mechanical plant. We are going to cover the Sonov version first, as it's the first shotgun the player is likely to come across. In-game, it has a weight of 2.4 kilograms, holds a shell in both of its barrels, and has a damage per shot of 80. To reload, press the mag eject button to break open the action, then manually insert a shell into each barrel. From 100 to 50%, it will take 168 shots. This gun has a different kind of malfunction known as misfires. If you know you have an unspent shell loaded in the gun and it refuses to fire, break open the action and reclose it. This kind of gun has no sights to speak of, but don't bother putting any on yourself, as the horrendous spread pretty much entirely nullifies aiming. It has an effective range of just 15 feet or 4.5 meters. Slugs make it slightly more accurate, but it's still pretty bad. It has a buy cost of 500, it has a few upgrades it can receive, a B-rail slot for 600, minus 30% recoil for 850, a B-rail sight slot for 650, and most importantly, decreased shot spread by 30% for 700. Oh, and you can increase it by 30% for 500 and make its new effective range just 2.7 meters. Now, if that's not a worthy upgrade, I don't know what is. And just for reference, yes, decreasing spread will help with accuracy for slugs. If you want this piece of garbage, it will literally spawn on top of your computer in Vano after completing the first mission. They are also commonly found in metal crates in Pervome and Bolaki. As you may have noticed, I'm not particularly fond of the shotgun. Every other shotgun outclasses it in nearly every way except for weight. Great for very loudly killing fragments and spawns, which can just as easily be dealt with a knife. The only saving grace is that the game literally gives it to you for free. So I'll give it a 2 out of 10 instead of a 1 out of 10. Just wait until you get any other shotgun. Moving on to the big brother, the full-size IZH-27. It has a weight of 3.5 kilograms, holds a shell in both of its barrels, and does 90 damage per shot. It functions just like the Sonoff in its operation and has the exact same durability, 168 shots to 50%. Where this shotgun shines, however, is its significantly better spread, having an effective range of 23 meters or 75 feet. This is actually the tightest spread in the game. It sports the exact same upgrades as the Shorty, meaning its theoretical maximum range is around 100 feet or 30 meters. It has a cost of $1,500 in the shop. If you want one without paying for it, they can be found in metal crates in Pervome, Balaki, and Pobeda. The insanely tight spread on the shotgun compared to the Sonoff not only makes it incredibly more effective, but also leagues more fun to use. It's also the best candidate for a sniper shotgun. No, really, it's very accurate once you put a scope and decrease the spread on it. The only real downside to this is it experiences a lot of drop and low velocity. Overall, I'll give this thing a 7 out of 10. Yes, it's that much better. Next up is the IZH-81. Designed in 1993 and produced by the Isvyosk mechanical plant, it's a Russian pump-action shotgun that was widely used by private security companies in Russia. Its production was discontinued in the year 2000. In-game it has a weight of 3.2 kilograms, a mag size of 4, and a damage of 100 per shot. In order to cycle the action, you must hold down the controller trigger of the hand on the pump grip and then pull it backwards to eject the shell currently in the chamber. Going back forward will load a new shell from the mag tube. Rounds must be individually inserted from the bottom. Note, while the mag tube only holds 4, an extra one can be loaded in the chamber so you can have 5 at the ready. From 100 to 50% durability, it will take 250 shots. It doesn't have any sights, just a bead on the front of the barrel. It has an effective range of 48 feet or 14.5 meters. It will run you 3,000 in the shop. It has the same upgrades as the double barrels with one notable exception. It can get a mag tube extension of 4 shells, doubling its ammo capacity for 500. If you want one, which you should, then you're in luck. There's a stash located here in Pobeda Factory, just down in the quarry between some rocks. It also comes in at 50% durability, so it can be repaired at no cost. Just be aware, I would take care of the sniper first so you don't get your head blown off when you're trying to get back up. The added capacity, damage, and fun factor really elevate this weapon for me, and can take you a long way. It does have less range than the full-size double barrel, but it's still very usable. What really seals it for me though is that you can get it guaranteed for absolutely free. This may be a little controversial, but I'm gonna give it a perfect 10. I just love this thing. Put a good sight on it, keep it fed with slugs, give it some upgrades, and it can take you into the late game easy. And you'll have a lot of fun doing it. Moving on, we have the Spas-12, an icon among shotguns. Designed in 1979 by Italian's firearms manufacturer Franchi, it has been used in a lot of media from video games to movies. It has a rather unique feature too, possessing the ability to be manually pumped or fire in semi-automatic mode. The pump feature was mainly intended to be used with low pressure rounds like less than lethals, as they don't generate enough pressure to cycle the gun properly in semi-automatic mode. In-game it has a weight of 3.2 kilograms, a mag size of 7, and a damage per shot of 100. It has a selector lever near the trigger. This gun only fires in semi-automatic mode in-game. From 100% to 50% durability, it will take 344 shots. It's the first shotgun to feature actual iron sights, which are pretty good. It has an effective range of 33 feet or 10 meters. it will run you $5,500 in the shop, and has the exact same upgrades as the IZH-81, including the +4 mag tube size increase, which technically makes this the highest capacity shotgun in the game, even surpassing the Saiga. Unfortunately, it can only be purchased in full. Overall, I think this is one of the weaker shotgun options. The lower spread, high cost, and low availability just don't make it worthy in my eyes. It's not a bad gun by any means, but I feel like it could be skipped over entirely and you wouldn't really be missing out on much. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Finally, at the last shotgun on our list today, the Saiga 12. Designed by the legend himself, Mikhail Kalashnikov, it is literally an AK rifle chambered in 12 gauge. Mostly anyway. The model we see in-game is the 12K version, which has a short barrel and a folding stock. It was designed in the 90s and is still being produced to this day in Russia. In-game, it has a weight of 3 kilograms, a mag size of 5 or 10, and a damage of 110 per shot. It has an AK-style selector lever on the right side. Bear in mind, the gun must be set to fire in order to charge the weapon. If you try to charge the weapon when the safety is on, it will not go all the way back and chamber around. It will take around 79 short mags, or 375 shots to get from 100% durability to 50% durability. It has fairly usable sights on it, pretty typical of an AK pattern weapon. This unfortunately has the second worst spread in the game, having an effective range of 30 feet or just 9 meters. It runs 8,000 in the shop. It has all the standard shotgun upgrades, however, it does accept dovetail mounted optics like the Cobra D. If you want one, the only way besides buying one outright is to find one in a stash in Prechorsk Castle. Heading through the front gate and making your way through the tunnels, you can't miss it. Bear in mind, this stash is completely unobtainable until the final mission. Overall, when compared to the other security level 5 weapons, this one is definitely the most underwhelming. That isn't to say it's bad, it just means the other options are just that much better. What really drags this one down for me personally is the high spread and difficulty to acquire. I do like the gun, but in terms of this game, I'm honestly not really feeling it, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Shotguns. What they lack in general versatility, they more than make up for by being, in my opinion, the most fun weapons in the game. The full-size double barrel and pump both have something about them that just strikes all the right chords with me. Until next time, explorers.